Hello and welcome back to A Storied World. I'm Katie Upton. I am the author of this channel and I am an author. I write my own books and I write in multiple different genres. And so this channel is taking a turn for the better, I hope. And today I'm starting that. And what I'd like to do is, I guess, more of a vlog or behind the scenes and do book reviews and those sorts of things. So I went out today and I went to a bookstore. So excited, and got several books. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5. Got 5 books and really excited about that. So I will share them with you because starting this type of vlog, if you will, yeah, I will share them with you, and I'll as I'm reading them, splice this together and we'll see how this goes. If you like it, great. Let me know. Subscribe, please. And I'll also be doing some episodes where I'm reading chapters of my own books and see if you like those. I write in multiple different genres. Those genres are mystery, suspense. I've got supernatural, suspense, and time travel. So sci-fi. Love sci-fi too. And I am dipping my toe in romance, so we'll see how that goes. And so yeah, it's a, I do have the cozy mystery and that sort of thing in that genre and subgenre, and then I have more like women's sleuth and that sort of thing. Again, then I have the romance that I'm starting in, and then I also have the time travel. So, but today, let's go over what I got from the store. So excited. Glad to have you here too, by the way. So the first one that I got is called Confessions of a Grammar Queen. Confessions of a Grammar Queen. So there's this lovely bookstore that my family actually found for me, and decided, hey, let's go to try today. And it really is great. So I'm going to include some of that in here and see if you know the store. If you do, drop it in a comment. But so Confessions of a Grammar Queen is one. It's USA Today bestseller, so by Eliza Knight. So we're gonna see. Another one that I got was Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. So here's that one. And how do you stop a murder after it's already happened? I don't know. We're going to find out. Another one I got was, let's see, This Is How You Lose the Time War. Okay, so this is the one that so many people have been telling me about to read because I love time travel. And so we're going to see. I normally like time travel, and yes, this is a thing. Time travel with romance, it's a thing. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what this is. It says seditious and seductive. We're going to see about that one. And then, oh guys, this is funny. So I went in and I totally forgot the name of this book. And of course, I couldn't remember the name of the author. I'm sorry, but I didn't. The only thing I could remember were that there were, there was a bird on the front, and I knew it was time travel. So that was interesting. However, I did finally find the cover, and the really cool thing is that if you go to a really good bookstore, you could tell these people, and obviously in a library too, you can tell a librarian, oh, this is what it looks like, and they can take you to it. Well, something similar happened today where I just showed this, this particular book cover, and boom, took off halfway across the store. Bam, took it out. Here you go. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. So great service. I really appreciated that. So This Is How You Lose the Time War. We're gonna check this one out. Another one, and those three are pretty popular actually. I know that because Confessions of a Grammar Queen was on their list of bestsellers. This is How You Lose the Time War. I have heard of this one before. And I know it's a bestseller. It was on Amazon and as a bestseller, and it's a New York Times bestselling author wrote this too. So, you know, and then another New York Times bestseller is Wrong Place, Wrong Time, Gillian McAllister. So these are all really well known. This one, Cherry Blossom Blues. Okay, so that one's not a New York Times bestseller. We're going to see if it should be, maybe. Verlana Kardash. And so there's that one. But okay. So the thing about this is that since I'm dipping my toe into romance novels, right? Romance writing, I read a lot in those particular genres before I start and put pen to paper per se. And yes, by the way, I do write old-fashioned way, which is pen to paper sometimes. So I do that. Having said that, this one, Cherry Blossom Blues, honestly, I'm a sucker for a redhead. And I love people with red hair. I don't care, you know, I just love red hair. And so on the cover, you've got a redhead, right? You got a redhead. I wish I had red hair. Honestly, I do not. So, anyway, I was like, ooh, what's that about? And, you know, it seems pretty interesting. I mean, we've got Washington, D.C. court reporter throws herself into work after her husband dies. Oh, guys, yeah. So work is her haven, and then she's caught into this, like, it says treacherous web of espionage and wrongdoing that takes her from D.C. to Annapolis to Toronto, Canada. Love you, Canada. To complicate matters, she falls for sexy, dangerous naval intelligence officer Robert Crowell. Confronted with the unwelcome prospect of opening her heart again, she resists for where love blooms, heartbreak is sure to follow. Robert is sworn to secrecy about his true mission, but Susanna needs to trust him to disentangle herself from danger in this tale of redemption and second chances. It's not that he's younger. The younger man. Cougar, maybe? But that he's possibly one spy too many. So I'm really excited about this one. Since it's not a New York Times bestseller, I'm really intrigued. I'm gonna look up the author and I'm gonna find out a little bit more about this author. And I really, really, really hope this is a good one. I really do, because I want to support new authors. You know, I want to support indie authors, and I'm an indie author, and so that's what I'm going to do on this channel as well. So I just want to let you know that. And so hopefully this one's a good one. And if it is, you're going to find out about it. And then the last one that I got, let's see, was, so Emily Henry, Great Big Beautiful Life. And I heard from another like influencer talk about this, and I was like, ooh, that sounds like me. That sounds like my kind of book. And so you might have heard of her. She's a big one too. I mean, she's a New York Times bestselling author. So we're going to see, and it's Reese's book club, right? Reese Witherspoon. So we're going to see. So I think I'm going to start off with, I don't know. That's the hardest part, isn't it? Maybe you know what I'll do. I'll just start with one and then see which, first chapter of each one, and then we're going to see which one I go with. So stay tuned, hang on. The next time I see you in this video, I will have picked, and I'll show you which one it is. Okay, I've decided. I've read some in each of the books, and I've got really good books. So that's good. But the one I've decided to read first is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I'm going to read this one first. I don't know, it just caught me. It just just reads really well from the first sentence, the first page, the first couple pages. So I'm really excited about that. And then I will go on to Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister, and then Confessions of a Grammar Queen, and then go on from there. So really excited, and I better get started. So I'll see you very soon, and we'll get to talking about Great Big Beautiful Life. Okay, so I've read a few chapters of Great Big Beautiful Life, and I have some thoughts. So it's funny because I actually identify with the main protagonists, like, I guess you would call potentially the love interest. At least I think he's the love interest. So in this, we have a young woman, and she is just kind of breaking into writing biographies for people. And then Alice is her name. And she runs into a guy on an assignment. So she gets called, and it's like this recluse of a woman that used to be all in the tabloids and everything else, and everybody just loved her and stuff. And so anyway, long story short, she goes and she finds this woman, and this woman apparently wants her biography written, and kind of in an odd way. So I'm still figuring out what's going on here. However, there's another man that, so she goes to this woman's place, and it's in Georgia, like on the coast somewhere in Georgia. And she finds her, and nobody's known where she's been. She's been MIA, basically missing for the last 20 years or so. And she's in her 80s now. Okay. Anyway, so she shows up at this woman's home, and she talks to her, and still unsure whether she gets the job or not. She understands that, okay, this woman wants to interview other people, but what she doesn't realize is that when she's walking out the door, there's the guy at the door. There's another guy, but except she knows of this man. This man doesn't know who she is. He's been at it for a long time, and he just got a Pulitzer Prize and like writing another person's like biography, and this person had dementia, and everybody just loved it, obviously, because it got a Pulitzer. So anyway, his name is Hayden Anderson, and her name is Alice Scott. So she's eternally optimistic and just full of energy and full of life. And so when they meet each other, he's just kind of gruff, handsome, apparently, just kind of like not friendly, right? And I think we all know people like that. Anyway, he's very career-oriented, very career-focused, and so she's feeling really dejected because she's thinking, oh, wow, I'm never going to get this, right? So we fast forward. She goes out to eat later on that night, and there's only one place. You knew what was going to happen. If there's one place that's really open, because it's kind of like, I guess it's like on an island or something, or it's in like a touristy town. If it's 9 o'clock at night, there's not going to be very many places open if they're mom and pop stores, right? And so inevitably what happens, well, she gets in there, and she's ordering, and she's basically in there by herself, or at least she thinks she is. And she happens to see in the back corner Hayden Anderson. So she's got two options, right? She can ignore him, because he was gruff. Like, she tried to introduce herself, and he was just like not really having it, but he kind of, like, okay, fine, I'll shake your hand, kind of thing. And he has all this confidence, right? Or at least it seems he does. So she goes up to him, and she's like, well, R2, I can go up to him, and I can introduce myself, and she's the eternal optimist and stuff. And so she goes up to him, and she introduces herself, and she's funny, like, he keeps kind of being snarky towards her, and she's not having it, But she leaves kind of feeling a little bit better, because obviously he doesn't know if he's got the job either. So it gives her kind of a boost of adrenaline, but it gives her some hope, right? Anyway, and then, I'm further into the book where there is another interaction, and she hears that he gets a phone call and she hasn't gotten a phone call, and she's out for breakfast the next morning. Again, dejection. The other interesting thing is that so he's gruff, in other words, right? And she's just eternally optimistic, and she's just really cheerful, and that's great. This world needs really cheerful people. I actually identify with Hayden because I am not always cheerful. And sometimes, if I'm sitting alone at a restaurant, if somebody were to approach me, that I was in, kind of this, I wouldn't say it's a battle, but I mean, it is. I mean, when you're going for writing assignments, I am a writer. Writers are, unfortunately, people consider a dime a dozen. It's extremely difficult to get jobs. It can be really difficult to get paid for your writing. And so each job is really, really important, especially the high profile ones, right? Like this was considered a high profile one. So I can understand his hesitance to kind of, why are you trying to psych me out? Or, what are you trying to do here? What are your ulterior motives? So I can identify with him more than I can identify with Alice. And that's not to say Alice isn't great, because she is. I really enjoy how this is going. She's building this kind of foundation for their interactions. And okay, so the woman that they're talking to, this recluse, famous heir of a fortune, and she married a rocker, and unfortunately he died apparently from I don't know what, but it was prematurely. He died somehow. So hopefully I'll figure that out later, or that'll be talked about. But she said something really curious, that what if I don't want my story? What if I want the truth, basically? And it's like, ooh, this is interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to, does she really want the truth, or is she playing with these two? What is her motive? What are her motives? Maybe she has more than one. But I'm really liking it. I really am liking it a lot. I tend to not read the really popular books. I tend to read indie books because I support indie authors. So this is my go at, reading the more popular books this time around. And if I like it, I'll continue it. As far as reading other books that are really on the New York Times bestseller, or, they're really popular out there, from, I guess, Book Talk or something like that, or for other social media that, I hear of. But right now I'm really excited. So this is really good. So I'm going to get back to reading. So. Okay, so I'm back, and I have finished Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. And I do have some thoughts about it. Honestly, when I really got into it, I do like romance. I tend to like more clean romance than anything. So Closed Door, whatever, Fade to Black, that sort of thing. It's kind of like my murder mysteries that I like. I'm not so much into the gruesome, gory details, just kind of fade to black, that happens off screen, that sort of thing. A little bit is fine. A lot, for me, is too much. So this was interesting. I don't know. I've never read her before. I've never read any of her other books. I should, and I probably will. She writes very well, first and foremost. And apparently, according to what I read up about her since, is that not only is it a #1 New York Times bestseller, well, at least it's in the Reese's Book Club. She's the #1 New York Times bestseller of Funny Story, which obviously I haven't read. So she, though, said that this was a divergence from what she is normally used to writing. So that piqued my interest too, because this is a very interesting book. So you've got two real storylines. You've got kind of a historical storyline, historical love story, and because she's interviewing this woman about her background. So she was kind of a socialite way back. So she's in her 80s now, but so way back, I guess, in the 50s or whatever, she was this young, really rich heiress and that sort of thing. So it's about her life and her love story. Then you have the Alice Scott love story with Hayden. And that one is, to me, really well done. Now, so apparently this is, again, a divergence. I just wonder what her other books are. I really enjoyed this. I do understand that some people think that it's more of a women's fiction as opposed to a romance. So romance, as we all know, has a happily ever after and that sort of thing. And you have the romance. It's just based on the romance. I can see why this would be considered a women's fiction book, because you're more focused. I think more the focus, it's pretty hard, but I think more the focus percentage wise is on the character arc and the character arcs of Hayden and Alice and then Margaret. So that's more, and it's just slightly less on the romance. So I can see where people are coming across and saying, hey, this is not romance. And romance, the romance genre is got some just wonderful fans, and they are tried and true, and that's what they read, and it's got to meet these tropes, and I completely respect that. So when it doesn't hit everything, when it's not really focused on, you've got the romance there, so it's hard to describe, but when it's not completely focused on the romance and you've got the historical and those more character arcs and stuff, I can understand why people that thought apparently some of her other books are strictly romance. It would come as a kind of a surprise. It would come as a surprise. And she did admit that this was different for her. And I don't know whether she's trying to veer into another, like the women's fiction or even something else. I don't know. Because there were secrets in this. It was more secretive than, and more depth. So there's more emotion to this. And I think with romance, you get emotion, but it's more lighthearted. This is just deeper than that, right? It was deeper. It was the characters and what they've gone through, and it really pulled you in. At least it pulled me in. And I can appreciate how she wrote this. So I definitely thumbs up for this one. I really like this. Again, I do agree. I think this is a women's fiction novel. And regardless of, I don't know if that's what she was going for or not, but this definitely fits in the women's fiction genre. And I just really liked it. And so I tried to find other authors that were like her, because I'm dipping my toe into women's fiction, really, because I'm more interested in these types of books. I'm interested in the rawness of the individual and the development of this individual and their backgrounds and what makes a person tick, and how that affects our interactions with other people, be it whether it's, friends or lovers or children, that sort of thing. So that's where I am. And I found one. And yes, I'm going off what I said earlier. I'm going to kind of get another New York Times bestseller. So I got this one on my e-reader. So it's Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. And I'm excited to read this one because this is women's fiction too. And I do plan on, currently writing a women's fiction book set in Oregon. So I'm really excited about this one. And the blurb seems to be really good. The cover is really spectacular too. Let's see if I can get it up on the screen. Is it backwards? Probably. Every Summer After, a Radiant debut by Emily Henry. So that's her, you know, backing this Carly Fortune, this other author up. So I'm really excited to get started on that. So I'm deviating a little bit from what I said at the beginning of this video, but that's okay because that's life, right? So Every Summer After, and then I will get onto the other books of my stash. But yeah, I would definitely recommend Emily Henry's Great Big Beautiful Life because it just really was good. So I guess it's on to the next, right? In my next video, I'll be reviewing Every Summer After. So please, if you want to support this, support me and support my channel and support my books and get more of this kind of stuff, please subscribe. Please hit like, please subscribe. Please pass this on for other people to view, because otherwise I can't keep, you know, unfortunately it's a tough business. And I would just really like you to follow because we can have some fun. So if you have any questions, if you have books that you'd like to recommend for me, again, I read almost all genres. Just put them in the comments and we'll see. And so yeah, until next time, happy reading.